What's up? It's Tom, recording as we are in the top of the fifth inning of an 8-2 game with Cleveland putting it on Joe Ryan right now. I'm about to fall asleep. Cleveland has just knocked me out. Monday, got the Monday lag going on. Taken aback, knocked out from this game. I mean, we know better than to expect anything from a Twins game in Cleveland. But I could not have. There's a lot of different ways I could imagine the Guardians having a nice open to this game against Joe Ryan. But hitting 6 home runs off of him was not on, even with these expectations of terror coming in Cleveland. Could not have anticipated that. I was thinking about live streaming tonight, but that's not going to happen. Again, I was that was already kind of wishful thinking, and now oh my gosh, Byron Buxton activated. Joe Ryan starting. Joe Ryan starting this game. I don't know if the All-Star game just broke him or what, but Cleveland just kind of looked like they knew what was coming. Vibes should have been at an all-time high here for the Twins. I understand you lost the last 2 games of the Chicago series. Didn't look good in either of those games, really. But, again, you get Buxton back, feeling fresh there. You got Joe Ryan, obviously the Twins ace, one of the best pitchers in baseball this year, matching up against Tanner Bybee, who's been Cleveland. He's had success in the past for sure, but he's been Cleveland's worst starter this year. Basically, given the circumstances and how we all know how important this series is going to be, 4-game series in Cleveland. But given the circumstances, this was basically a must-win game for the Twins. That Joe Ryan was pitching tonight. Game 1, you want to get a nice first win, even though that didn't really translate to anything more at Wrigley. Getting that first win would just be a kind of a sigh of relief. So I kind of felt like this was a bit as close in a 162-game season, as you can get to a must-win game. Tanner. I will say this about Tanner Bybee: he has been excellent against the Twins historically, and I don't think he was getting good movement, but I don't think he was locating particularly well. But luckily for him, all of his misses for the most part were uncompetitive pitches out of the zone. He wasn't missing in the zone. But yeah, he's we're at the top of the 5th inning. The Twins do have 2 runs, but again, Tanner Bybee's not been very good. This is a poor Cleveland lineup that has put 8 runs on Joe Ryan through 4 innings. No Jose Ramirez. This is one of the least imposing major league it's hard to imagine many more less scary major league lineups, and they put 8 runs on Joe Ryan. The Twins pitching staff needs to dominate this series, and to have Joe Ryan just get his face kicked in is a tough pill to swallow in this first one. The defense also needs to convert outs, and that didn't happen either. The Twins had an opportunity for a double play and only got 1 out. Cody Clemens couldn't quite turn it. That shouldn't be the end of the world, though. It's not like that's why Cleveland has scored 8 runs through the first 4 innings. But this, just to try to contextualize, obviously we know Joe Ryan's good. But Cleveland is the worst slugging team in baseball. League average slugging percentage is .402, so right around 400. Cleveland had a .368 slugging percentage entering tonight. .368. Their home runs came from Brian Rocchio, who's having a good year, but still not really a slugger. He has a .399 slugging percentage, so he's a little bit below league average, but right around there. Rhys Hoskins, he was hit for quite a bit of power in his career, but 2 home runs tonight. He had a .359 slugging percentage coming into tonight. Again, the league average is .402. But Petey Halpin, that's clearly a made-up name. That's 2 kids in a trench coat. Cook sneaking into the clubhouse and telling Stephen Vogt, oh yeah, we're P.D. Halpin. 2 home runs, his first 2 career home runs tonight. He had a .254 slugging percentage in 33 games this year for Cleveland. Again, League average is 402. PD Halpin, a 254 slugging percentage coming into tonight in 33 games with Cleveland. And he takes Joe Ryan deep twice. Oh, sure. The Twins aren't cursed in Cleveland or anything. That's all in our head. That's not a real thing. No. Nonsensical things happen in baseball games all of the time, like PD Halpin, a made-up person, hitting Joe Ryan for 2 home runs. Sure. Travis Bazana, their all-star rookie, also homered. He's having a good year, but that's not like Rocchio. He's not a slugger either. He's got a 404 slugging percentage, so a couple points above league average, but certainly not much of a dangerous hitter himself. And this is we're heading into the bottom of the 5th here. I don't even know if Joe Ryan's going to come back out. Probably not. So this is Joe Ryan's also not been efficient. If you were to lose this game with Joe Ryan starting, but if he turns in at least a solid start and, maybe helps save some bullpen, that's one thing. Him coming, he's not going to pitch deep into the game. I guess the saving grace is the Twins are so far behind, any high leverage relievers are probably getting the night off, so that'll kind of benefit them the rest of the series. But, man, they entered the series 3 games back at Cleveland. They're 2 games out in the final wild card with Seattle and Baltimore kind of jockeying for the same spots. That's another thing you have to keep in mind about some of these playoff spots. It's not just the number that you're out. It's also what other teams you're in competition with. Because if you're just kind of being mid, as a lot of these wild card team contenders are, and just one of those teams takes off, it's not really about you anymore. It's about, can you keep up with that team? We've seen that with the Red Sox all of a sudden going on this crazy winning streak. Funderburk's out there now, so Joe Ryan is out. Oh, I don't even know what I was talking about, but yeah, we all know this was going to be a tough needle to thread. I expected the Twins to go 2-1 at Wrigley. They did that. I think they have to go 2-2 in this series, and losing this game that Joe Ryan was starting. All these games are big, but this one, again, it was as close as you can get to a must-win game in a 162-game Major League season. I think you can get. If the Twins can't split this series, Cleveland takes 3 out of 4. I mean, if they sweep, it's pretty much donezo. But even if they take 3 out of 4, they're going to gain 2 more games than the Twins. We're basically getting in a conversation where we're hoping for the opposite. Some team pulls an opposite Red Sox and just completely falls apart, or multiple teams at that point. You just need a lot of help. So if Cleveland wins this series, taking 3 or 4 at least, it's going to be tough to justify trying to, add any pieces, at least serious pieces. We'll see what happens. But the Twins, after this series, the Twins do host the A's and the Royals next, so those should be very winnable. For that, the only series left is at Seattle. That's always tough. You're going to a different time zone. That's a tough team to play there. They play very well at home, so this is we could be seeing the season tip here in this series at Cleveland. That was always going to be the case, but coming out in a Joe Ryan start and getting their teeth kicked in is certainly not the way they wanted it to go, and we'll see what happens. This whole time I've been rooting for them to give the front office and ownership a reason to invest in the team. Not saying there's no really logical reason for them to truly go for it, but hey, give these guys a chance. This has been a tough team. This has been a team that was given nothing to work with, really, and they've been grinding and got themselves this far, 500 a game after the All-Star break in Chicago in that first win. So, I don't want to see another fire sale when a team's overperforming, the teams that's competing. But they had to hold up their end of the bargain and keep their winning going. They keep that momentum that they brought into the All-Star break going. It's not like they can't do that now just because this one game is going sideways. But these games are right in between. Should we trade some guys? Should we trade for some guys? And this series was really going to dictate which direction they likely went. So, and Tom Pohlad talked a big game. I was hoping the team could make him put his money where his mouth was, and we could really see. And if they can't, if they play poorly coming out of the break here, if they've dropped this series, just letting him off the hook is how I would put it. So I was hoping that the team wouldn't do that. And again, there's still what is that, 12 games between now and the trade deadline. It is on August 3rd this year, so keep that in mind. The fat lady's not singing, but she sure is warming up right now. This is a huge series, and to come out and get punched in the face. Credit to Cleveland. This is the least imposing lineup I think I've ever seen. And, they did it, though. They put 8 runs on Joe Ryan in 4 innings. So, you got to give them credit where credit's due. Chipping in another run since 9-2. So, yeah. It's going to be an early night tonight, and I'm going to just have nightmares about these Cleveland Guardians made-up players, Petey Halpin and whoever the rest of these jokers are. But I hope you're doing good. Thanks for checking this one out. Check out Limestone Pipeline. We're rolling out our updated post-draft prospect list. So the numbers 20 through 11 came out today, Monday, and that's free. So just a reminder, it is on Patreon. It is $4 a month to get everything. But me and Jamie are consistently putting out free content. And I'll also have a free podcast on Wednesday available there. So check that out. Thanks for checking this one out. Oh, I'm going to bed.